that was where all the birthday parties were and everything. And in the summertime, we spent, I mean, just days at a time in their above ground swimming pool. And usually we were making like these dynamic whirlpools that would every once in a while suck a kid into the middle. Or we were making like enormous wave pools and splashing water out of the pool. So down at the house we would get yelled at like, quit wasting water, you know. Or we would like use the rafts and we would run and like jump on them and surf, and eventually someone would get busted up and you'd have to stop doing that. But a lot of times what would happen is whatever ball we were playing with would go out of bounds and it would land in my grandfather's garden that was directly behind the pool. And since I was the oldest, I usually got recruited to go out and tiptoe into the garden and recover the ball. And I learned at an early age that a garden is a pretty sacred place. I would go to get the ball and like I would just have my foot over the fence and I would hear my grandfather all the way down at the house yell up, "You kids better not be in my garden." So then my heart would start racing and I'd be like all nervous and stuff, grab the ball, try not to step on anything and like jump out, dive back into the pool, and it would be all good. But it took a long time for me to really understand why he was so protective of his garden. And after like 15 years of gardening on and off, I've realized that there's a lot of work and dedication that comes with maintaining and growing a garden. And I've begun to realize how special that can be because of the time that you put into it. So my least favorite thing about gardening is pulling the weeds. And speaking of invasive plants, I would like to talk to you today about zucchini. Zucchini squash, also called courgette, is full of nutrients. It is very versatile to cook with. You can bake with it, you can make all kinds of different dishes, and it is also really easy to grow. So easy to grow, in fact, that there seems to be an issue with too much zucchini. So even if you don't grow it yourself, you probably have people that are like, here, take some more zucchini, and that is something that I'm going to address in this speech today. There's also examples on a blog that I read that is the sheep are out, of people performing random acts of zucchini. So basically they have too much zucchini and they just go like take a bag of it and put it on a doorstep and like ring the doorbell and run. Or like you leave your car unlocked and you come back and there's like bags of zucchini in your car. So yeah. So of planting zucchini, author Dave Barry once stated that the trouble is you can't grow just one zucchini. Minutes after you plant it, a single seed, hundreds of zucchini will barge out of the ground and sprawl in the garden, menacing other vegetables, and at night you will actually be able to hear the ground quake as more and more zucchini erupt. So it's no secret that controlling the zucchini population can be a daunting task. Having too much summer squash is like watching a Real Housewives marathon. At some point you end up disgusted and bored. According to nutritionandU.com, a 6-inch zucchini has only 17 calories. It has 3 grams of carbohydrates, but with the 3 grams of carbs you get a gram of protein and a gram of daily fiber. So with all those benefits, it's hard to imagine wasting such a valuable vegetable. With disheartening levels of food insecurity among Americans, it's a sin to waste any food at all. So what can be done with this surplus of green goodness? Famous chef Julia Child once said, "You don't have to cook fancy or complicated masterpieces, just good food from fresh ingredients." It doesn't get much more fresh than straight from the garden. So today I'd like to show you how to make orange zucchini bread and a zucchini teeny. And the first thing we have to do is just chop up this zucchini. We'll throw it in the food processor. Or if you don't have a food processor, you can just grate it by hand. For the orange zucchini bread, we need 2 cups of the shredded zucchini, and the rest of it we're going to put in the sieve and place over the bowl so that we can save the zucchini water for the zucchini pini. So when you're using fresh zucchini, usually it's a good idea to put a little bit of salt on it because it has a high like moisture content. And for some dishes that doesn't matter, but for others you want to kind of get some of that out for it to be able to set, like in the quiche that I'll show you that I made. So I found that preparing and freezing fresh zucchini is one of the most convenient ways to keep food in stock for impromptu dinners or events, or to satisfy an autumn craving for chocolate zucchini muffins. The first step that we have in making the bread is to use 4 eggs, and we're just going to whisk this up until it becomes like thickened and like a lemony yellow color. And then I have 1.5 cups of sugar. Once you have the eggs to the consistency that you're looking for, you whisk this right in with the eggs. And you want to add your zucchini in. Cup of vegetable oil, 2/3 cup of orange juice, stir that up a little bit, and then add your dry ingredients. So what I have here is 3 1/4 cup of flour, all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then to season it, I have 2 teaspoons of grated orange zest, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, and 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then I have 2 pans here that are just the bottoms are greased and floured. And once we get this all together, you would bake it at 375 for about an hour, maybe 50 minutes. And it goes into loaf pans that are either 9x5 or 8x4. And we'll pretend that's going in the oven. So in the meantime, we have the zucchini water should be draining over here, and if you're planning on freezing the shredded zucchini, it's usually best to blanch it first and then bag it up. Some people I know have used like a cup measuring cup, like in taking scoops out and then put it on a pan to put in the freezer, so then you have like cup portions that you can pull out really easily for recipes. I just bag it up. So what are we going to do next? For the zucchini pini, I had ice water to chill the glass. We're going to take 2 tablespoons of the zucchini water, and 2 tablespoons of a simple syrup, which is just sugar and water that you boil down equal parts. I made a tea with this stuff before I added the sugar to give it a little bit of flavor. And then we have unfiltered sake. Just drink it to half a cup of that. Quarter cup of gin. If you have a cocktail shaker, use that. If not, travel coffee mug works too. And as a garnish, we'll float a couple of slices of zucchini. I like to use the mandolin when you need something thin. There's your drink. So while the bread would be baking, we could bag up the rest of this. But since I have an example of the bread that's already done, we'll move to that and put the icing on it. So the glaze is just made of 1 cup of powdered sugar and 2 or 3 tablespoons of orange juice. Alright, so now that you know how easy it is to make delicious and nutritious meals with summer squash, I want you to do your part to use this vegetable. Do not allow another day to go by with the zucchini being wasted. Take a stance against random acts of zucchini. Use a courgette to nourish yourself today. And don't be afraid to raid your neighbor's garden for a zucchini feast, but be careful not to step on my grandfather's tomatoes. Thank you guys. I guess I didn't leave time for questions.